Well, welcome back. The murder trial against former football star Aaron Hernandez moved a step closer today as another 375 potential jurors were summoned to the courthouse. Well, day two of jury selection took place today in the murder trial of former New England Patriots tight end Aaron Hernandez. Hundreds of prospective jurors filled out questionnaires that will help lawyers eventually narrow down the jury pool. Hernandez has pled not guilty to the murder of 27-year-old Odin Lloyd. Opening statements are not expected to begin until next week. Well, joining us in the studio to talk about details of the case is entertainment, business, and sports attorney Dominic Romano. Welcome to Arise News Now. First of all, explain what the charges are against Aaron Hernandez.
Well, there are murder charges and there are weapons charges.
And there are multiple murder charges against him.
That's right. There's a conspiracy charge, conspiracy to commit murder under probably the theory of the joint venture that he collaborated with the two other co-defendants in that part.
Okay,
that charge.
Of course, we all know now that he's pled not guilty. Would you have advised that if you were his attorney based upon the evidence or the evidence lack thereof?
Well, we don't necessarily know all of the evidence that the defense has, but in this particular case, I mean, if your client says he's not guilty and believes it, he has a right against self-incrimination and to make the prosecution prove their case.
Okay, the prosecution seems like they would have a lot to go on, but in this particular case, they have chosen not to call two potential witnesses here. One, of course, is Carlos Ortiz or Ernest Wallace Jr. as witnesses in this trial. Why so?
Well, it could be a number of reasons. You know, one of them is that there's a saying that, you know, if you call one of the co-defendants, you know, you're more likely to lose the case. The other thing is, I mean, one of these fellows has failed a polygraph test, so not the most reliable witness. So it could show that it could indicate that they have other more reliable evidence that they will be leaning on.
In this particular case here, it's probably not like the OJ case. Probably they're not facing a mountain of evidence here, are they?
Well, you know, it's an interesting question because there's a lot of circumstantial evidence and there's apparently quite a bit of surveillance video.
Okay, but circumstantial evidence can be tricky in a case like this.
Yes,
though.
it can be. Yes,
Okay.
it can be. But a combination of factors. Look, clearly today was a big victory for the defense. Certain evidence was thrown out, but it remains to be seen how the larger battle of the trial plays out.
Okay, his girlfriend involved in this. Apparently there's some obstruction of evidence there.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yes, so allegedly she took a box. She was sent, the allegation is she was sent a coded message from the defendant. She put a box of items from his home into a large plastic bag with baby clothes and got rid of it somewhere. She doesn't remember where. So the charges against her are very serious. She could face up to 20 years. There's a perjury charge and there's also obstruction of evidence. So.
Moving along here quickly, what are the possible verdicts? I mean, this is all, you know, obviously supposition here, but what are some of the possible verdicts that we could see in a trial like this?
Well, he could be guilty of the most serious charge or not, murder. But there's the conspiracy charges and also the weapons charges. He doesn't necessarily have to be exonerated of all three or convicted of all three. Now, the other thing is today, I mean, you saw there was a number of things. There were a number of things thrown out. Not just this cell phone was not admitted, but also the statements that he made to his sister, the alleged victim, texting his sister, "You saw who I was with." Her phone was turned off. Then NFL, just so you know. The judge said that, you know, although that may have some probative value, it's prejudicial and it's too circumstantial, and that didn't admit it. So there were a number of victories, and it doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to be exonerated in this case.
I got to tell you, this may make the Oscar Pistorius trial look like a fairy tale. That's why it's going. Dominic Romano, thank you for joining us, sir.
It's a pleasure.
All right. And you're watching Arise News Now.